I'm Capt. Stanford with Texas Fish Tips. This is your weekly fishing report.
Over here, Finger Dock's still holding a lot of fish. We've had a lot of good fish and good weather. This weekend's supposed to be some bad weather. I suggest not be on the water whenever it gets 30 miles an hour out there. But if it does, coming out of that north, you can get on that back wall right back here. Stay there all day and catch you some fish. There's a lot of sand trout in there. We've caught pompano. We've caught Spanish mackerel. We've caught grouper in there. Bull reds, lots of sand trout, and there's a lot of good-sized specks. If you use shrimp, throw them up on those rocks right by that wall. But there's a lot of good fish there and just about everything else you can think of. We caught flounder, we caught black drum. Just about everything you can think of is in there. Right out here on this end, right here, if you'll outgoing tide and that current is flowing from this side, it'll push some fish right here on the very end of it. And there's a lot of good bull reds right there. If the current gets too bad, get back here in the back. And find you a good eddy or where the current is not too bad. We've been using the trolling motors. We put them on GPS and spot lock or anchor and just hold on to it. Or you can anchor up with a little rock anchor, or you can top some of the pilings that are standing still through here. So be careful. You will hit your boat if you don't know where they're at. You can see a few of them. Just don't go in between them too much. Okay, these rocks right here going out on the north jetty on the inside of that channel hold some nice fish. Freeline shrimp has been working the best. Try not to fish it when the current's really running, either incoming or outgoing, either one works. But just be careful. If it's too much current, just move on. That's all I can tell you. If you do, you use a heavy weight and throw it on those rocks and let it set. You'll catch a few sheep's head or some redfish, some nice trout, and there's just about everything fish moving through there. Right out here on this weather buoy, you'll see the big yellow pole sticking up. That's a weather buoy by NOAA. You're not supposed to tie up to it, but people do. They've been catching a lot of good sheep's head off there. Just about everything else in there. If it's not too windy, get on this north side of this north jetty, and there's been fish all up and down it, all the way to the end. Big reds, there's been trout. We even seen 3 tarpon out there the other day. They were schooling out there. I kept throwing at them, but they didn't seem one thing I wanted, but they're there. About 4 or 5 footers. And also that south jetty, if you get out there on the end of it, it's been catching some fish out there as well. Same thing. Shrimp, if you got some cut mullet or cut menhaden, any of that works. If you catch a perch, keep him. Cut him up, drop him back down. Those bull reds, they like that fresh, bloody bait. Over in Old South Bay, that north wind blowing, it's going to drop that water out. Those fish be right in through here. If you can't get into this little cut right here, there'll be some fish in there. If you can't, you can jump out of your boat and go wading for it, or get your kayak, drag it up there to it, and jump in it, whichever you want to do. Try not to spook the fish. But out on the outside edge of this mud, right down through here, there's going to be some good reds. We've been catching some trout through there. I know there's some schools of black drum in there. They've been kind of hard to spot, but you just have to find them. Kind of blind casting for them. Also, if you go under that bridge, get over here in that old sailboat channel. This is a great place to fish in the wintertime. There's deep water next to shallow. The wind don't beat you up as bad. Any of these channel edges is usually pretty good. Usually I like to fish that south channel edge because everybody else is fishing out of the back to pick up on that north side. And it makes a lot of difference for you. Also, right on this corner, right here, there's usually some nice drum hanging here, and there's also bull reds and some slot reds. There'll be some small ones. There'll be some perch. We catch a few trout. We catch a few sheep's head. Right here on this corner, we've been catching black drum. Very end of this, we catch some redfish. Also back here by this old well, there's also some redfish back here. All on shrimp. You use cut mullet, cut menhaden, cut pin perch if you got them. All right, guys, over in Old Piper Channel, there's some good fish to be had down there. That's deep water next to shallow water in this channel down there. Along the edges, shrimp has been the ticket. There's drum, there's redfish, and there's trout. You catch a lot of small reds, but they're still a lot of fun. But when that water drops out of these basins right back in here, it's all going to go right back in that channel. That's where those fish will be. And then there's another spot right back in here that goes right back up in these flats. That deep cut, it'll be real defined. There'll be sheep's head, there'll be black drum, there'll be redfish in there. Good old Intercoastal Canal, that deep water next to shell along these edges. There's some good fish to be had. Shrimp usually the best way to go. Mud minnows will work on the edges for the redfish and the flounder. And you can't keep any flounder yet. But these cuts right back in here, holding some sand trout, hold some trout. Right on these edges, there's rocks. Be careful not to get hung up, but there's some good fish. A lot of times there's black drum and sheep's head in there. Any of these bigger cuts are like right in here. There'll be some nice trout in there in that deeper water. You can get out of that wind and it ain't gonna beat you up too bad. But that channel edge right here on those little corners, that's the best place to be. Don't catch them there. There's several drains right through here, all down through here, that'll hold fish. Anywhere's down through there. And this old island number 1, there's been some trout right in here on shrimp.
Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Doug Stanford.